Back here on SportsLine, exciting times for the Nashville Predators. For the first time ever, they lead a Stanley Cup playoff series 2-0. They, of course, have won a couple of series before. Back in 2011 and 2012, they were able to advance to round 2. But even in those series, they were never able to win the first 2 games. And this time, they did it on the road, going out to take on an Anaheim team that a lot of people thought was maybe the best team in hockey, certainly the hottest team in hockey down the stretch of the season, Pacific Division champions, a real contender in the West. And the Predators win in there in a physical contest and beat them in back-to-back games. 3-2 Friday night, 3-2 last night, and frankly, last night was a even more impressive performance. It's one thing, especially when you take a team, the Ducks played to the final game of the regular season to win their division. And sometimes it takes you a second to refocus after doing that. And so, heavily favored team on their home ice after playing to game 82 for something that really meant something. It's one thing to go in and sneak one out against them in game 1, to steal one from them in game 1. But when you do that, they come back and refocus. They're ready for game number 2. And frankly, the Preds were even better. The Ducks said, look, we maybe overlooked them in game 1. We weren't up to our normal standards. We didn't play as well as we need to against that team, but we'll be ready in game number 2. They came out and gave the Preds a punch, and the Preds punched right back, punched harder, and beat them. They were the better team last night in Anaheim at the Honda Center. So now the Preds are up 2-0. They come back home. Game 3 tomorrow night, 8:30 at Bridgestone Arena. Then game 4 in Smashville Thursday night, a more reasonable 7 o'clock Central start time for that one. Home ice advantage, been so good to this Predators team, and now a chance, they already have control of the series, chance to take a commanding lead or perhaps even wrap this thing up before they would have to head back west if they continue to play this way. But I think one of the most impressive things when you listen to guys, we talked to several today, yes, they're happy about what they did. They feel like they went out and did their job in Anaheim in winning these 2 games. But the mission is not accomplished yet. The job isn't done. As Captain Shea Weber said, look, 2-0 is great, but we haven't won anything yet. When you're talking about the playoffs, it's all about winning 4. First team to 4 advances. Getting halfway there isn't the deal. The Preds won 2 games in their playoff series last year against the Blackhawks. That got them nowhere, and the Blackhawks went on to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup. So 2 wins is not the deal. 4 wins is what gets you to advance, and the Predators are very aware of that. Excited to get back home with a 2-0 lead, though. Caught up with head coach Peter Laviolette. He's one of the guys in that room that has held a Stanley Cup before. He's hoisted it with Carolina back in 2006. He's played for the Stanley Cup. Besides that, he knows the path in the playoffs. And so far, through 2 games this year, he's certainly pushed the right buttons, getting the Preds ready down the stretch of the season and having them ready to go against the Ducks. Now up 2-0. Here's Peter Laviolette.
Go get 2 out there, which is what you said you wanted to go to, but it doesn't seem like this team's satisfied at the moment.
Well, it doesn't get you anywhere. You know, we got a lot of work to do. We're playing a really good hockey team. I think the guys realize that. We all realize that. And, you know, winning games out there doesn't do any good if you don't win anymore. So I think the guys are over it and past it and looking forward toward tomorrow night and getting back in our building with our fans. It should be good, but there's still a lot of work left to do.
It's been one of the more physical series so far early on. It seems like your guys have been more disciplined, though. How important has that been?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying. It was physical. Lots of battles out there, lots of scrums and stuff like that. But I do think we did a pretty good job of showing restraint out there and just not, you know, taking that extra shot and just trying to keep our composure. It's not easy for the guys, and I thought they did a pretty good job with it.
What does it say about you guys just being able to go on the road and pretty much set the tone and play your style of hockey the way you wanted to?
Well, I think our guys have done a pretty good job all year of trying to figure out what type of a game we have to play. You play Chicago, it's got to be a little bit more of a skating puck possession game. Pittsburgh the same way. You play Winnipeg, you go into Winnipeg, you know it's going to be a battle and heavy and physical, and we were planning for that type of a game out in Anaheim, and that's exactly what we got. So I don't think there were any surprises there with the way the game was played, and I thought our guys responded really well to that type of a game.
Do you think the fact that Colin had such a good playoff last year, did that maybe give him a little confidence going into the
Yeah, I think so. I think it gave Colin a little bit of confidence too, and a chance to hit the reset button. Playoffs is a different animal. It's a whole new season. It really is. Regular season doesn't matter anymore. It only matters what we do in the playoffs, and a good opportunity for him. And he really played well. He played well the last couple games down the stretch too. And I think maybe that gave him some confidence. His line played well, and they were able to do some good things out there. So, it was good to see him get off to a good start in the first two games. But I think a lot of our guys gained confidence last year. We were a young team with not a lot of playoff experience, and we played a real tough team in Chicago, and it didn't go the way we wanted, but we did gain a lot of experience from it.
You talked to him much after game two about making sure we keep the pedal to the metal. We're coming home. We're going to have our home environment ready for it. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much we don't talk about. Seems like all we do is meet right now. But the guys have been good, and they've really paid attention to detail, paid attention to discipline, and I think that's given us an opportunity and put us in hockey games. So I don't think that can change from here.
How good was your game management last night? As dangerous as they are in the third, they really didn't get many good chances to get back at them.
I think the defense had to be really good out there because of who we were playing. They've got some dangerous players. They're veteran players that have chemistry together and played a few years together and been through some wars together. And we knew that we had to play good defense, and we'll continue to have to play good defense. So it's hard to move on if you're giving up too many chances and you're not playing good defense. But when we did have some breakdowns, our goaltender was excellent, and he made big saves for us.
Peter, you knew that your team was capable of this. I mean, you watched them play all year. You know what your guys can do.
Needed him to what?
I said you knew that your team is capable of doing this. You watched them all year. You know what your guys can do.
Well, I mean, we've won games, but again, I think we should just go slow and keep our eye on the ball here. We got a tough game tomorrow night, and we know our opponent. They were the top team in the West, and certainly one of them, and the top team in the second half of the year. They're not just going to go away. We're going to have to continue to work for what we want.
You talked about that discipline earlier for you guys. How hard is that, to keep that restraint? It's natural human nature to kind of want to fight back.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. I thought we did a pretty good job. It was really rough out there last night, and that was playoff hockey. That's just the way the game went. And, I think there comes that moment when you have to just check yourself, and I thought our guys did a pretty good job of not taking that extra shot, and it's really important just to stay disciplined. So I think that usually the team, there's certain things that you can't do inside of a playoff series, and we've checked them off the boxes, and that's one of them, just trying to stay out of the penalty box.
Peter Laviolette having good success so far in this series. His Preds team with a pair of 3-2 wins to get a 2-0 lead over the Anaheim Ducks. Best of 7, Game 3 tomorrow night now, 8:30 in Smashville. Should be bonkers downtown tomorrow night. It's going to be a great atmosphere as always. The bars will be hopping. Fans will be out in the streets. Sounds like the weather's going to be terrific tomorrow night. A late starting time, so perhaps they'll have a chance to work up their mojo even a little bit before they get inside the arena. But it should be a lot of fun, because as much as any playoff series is exciting, when you go on the road and you win 2 games, especially games that maybe you weren't expected to from the experts, and now you come back, people expecting big things from the Predators. So it should be a lot of fun. We'll have full coverage, of course, coming up tomorrow. Got to take a break. We will come back and talk a little IndyCar. Joseph Newgarden getting set for what amounts to basically his home race next weekend. Stay tuned.